The quiet work of the invisible line. A visible line makes waiting shared and understandable. You can see the order, the pace, the reason for delay. When the line disappears, the waiting doesn't always disappear with it. When systems remove visible cues and explanations, they often hide not only time but power. Decisions still happen, but their costs and their authorship become harder to see. The impact is a quieter transfer of coordination work onto individuals, while institutions gain smoother surfaces and fewer questions. A cue is more than inconvenience. It is a public instrument of coordination. It is legible. It shows scarcity. It reveals demand, and it makes a promise about order. First come, first served, or at least this is how we're deciding. An explanation, why a request is delayed, why a rule applies, does similar work. It ties an outcome to a reason and a reason to a responsibility. When systems optimize to remove the visible line, they typically do it by moving coordination into hidden channels. Appointments, tickets, automated routing, will notify you, priority tiers, silent throttles, dynamic allocation. The explicit constraint is capacity. There are only so many staff hours, slots, deliveries, reviews, beds, callbacks, approvals. That constraint does not vanish. It is simply managed elsewhere. Here the trade-off becomes clear. Reducing visible friction can increase invisible friction. The system gains speed and appearance, but the person pays in uncertainty. A visible cue makes the cost of scarcity collective and measurable. An invisible cue often makes scarcity private and disputable. Who benefits? Organizations and operators benefit when coordination looks effortless. Fewer crowds to manage, fewer confrontations, fewer public indicators of backlog. Metrics can improve. Shorter line length, fewer abandoned carts in a lobby, a cleaner interface. Those with flexible time, strong access, and familiarity benefit too. They know how to refresh, escalate, navigate forms, find alternate channels, or qualify for priority. Who bears the cost? People with tighter schedules, less access, and fewer second chances bear it most. When the queue is hidden, they spend time checking, rechecking, waiting for messages, repeating information, proving eligibility again, guessing what counts as urgent. They also bear the social cost of appearing unreasonable when they ask for clarity, because the system presents itself as already orderly. Incentives drive this. A system is rewarded for reducing visible complaints, not for reducing total burden. If performance is measured by throughput, response time on easy cases, or surface-level satisfaction, the system learns to route complexity into quiet corners. That creates a feedback loop. Hidden backlog produces more uncertainty. Uncertainty produces more follow-ups. Follow-ups increase load. Load justifies further automation and opacity. Meanwhile, the absence of a visible line reduces collective pressure to expand capacity or change rules because the need is no longer plainly seen. Explanations are often removed in the same way. A no without a reason is faster, safer for the institution, and harder to contest. But it also removes a critical accountability link. If nobody can see the rule being applied, the rule can drift. It becomes governance by output rather than governance by reason. Name the cost, not just the benefit. So invisibility does not eliminate coordination. It relocates it. The system's smoothness is purchased with someone else's attention, confusion, and repeated effort. Costs that rarely appear on a dashboard. Legibility is not just convenience. It is part of dignity. To understand how a decision is made is to remain a participant rather than a passenger. When cues and explanations vanish, agency narrows. People cannot plan their day, cannot evaluate fairness, cannot tell whether the system is broken or simply busy. Responsibility also becomes diffused. No one person chose the delay. It is framed as the natural weather of the process. This matters because attention is where coordination becomes human. Visible cues and clear reasons invite shared reality. We are all waiting. Here is why. Here is what the system can and cannot do. Invisible cues invite private coping strategies, constant checking, anxious escalation, resignation, or quiet exclusion. The system may feel more modern, but it can become less accountable because what cannot be seen is harder to question and easier to normalize. Governance blind spots form in that normalization. When friction is hidden, leaders see fewer signals, and communities lose a common reference point for asking whether capacity is adequate, whether priorities are justifiable, and whether exceptions are being granted by rule or by access. Coordination becomes a series of isolated experiences instead of a shared contract. Notice where waiting has become solitary rather than shared, where the line has moved from public space into personal time. Consider what information is missing when an outcome arrives without a reason. What can no longer be appealed, compared, or understood? Name the coordination work that has been shifted. Who performs it? Who profits from its invisibility? And who is quietly constrained by it? A system that hides its lines may still be orderly, but it is less answerable. Responsibility remains, even when no one is singled out.